Millionaire Elon Musk shocks the world with his black sun, revealing bombshell secret about dad. The flashbulbs exploded like fireworks, blinding. Yells and whispers buzzed through the crowded hallway as Elon Musk stepped into the spotlight, eyes dark but tense. Behind him, a small, nervous boy held tightly to his coat's edge, Leon. The world was holding its breath. Elon's secret had blasted through every headline. The billionaire genius had a black son, born from a mystery no one saw coming. Leon's deep brown eyes scanned the throng of cameras, his face almost lost in the swirl of voices shouting questions. But no one knew the truth. He was more than just a surprise reveal. Whispers circulated. Leon wasn't just Musk's child. He was something else entirely. A spark, a flicker of something electrifying and dangerous. The woman who'd brought Leon into existence was a shadow, a ghost from Elon's past. Stories tangled around her like thick smoke, a rare lineage tied to a community rich with history and secret voices. Musk had buried those years deep in his mind. But now, they clawed back, raw and sharp in the open. Elon's chest tightened as he realized the storm wasn't just about a scandal. It was deeper, darker. Power players lurking in the edges of tech and politics eyed Leon like a prize. People wanted to twist him, to use him. They whispered about his talents. Amazing, uncanny, untapped forces threatening to reshape everything Musk had built. "Dad, will they hurt me?" Leon's voice cracked. It pierced Elon's heart. The television crews kept screaming questions. Some faces showed awe, others pure judgment. Anyone could see the lump rising in Elon's throat, while sweat trickled down his temple. His hands trembled as he forced himself to stand taller. The man who once dreamed only of Mars and electric cars now wrestled with a nightmare. Protecting this boy in a world hungry for power and secrets. Musk's mind flickered with memories, old promises, forgotten allies, betrayals buried under ambition. A former friend, once close, now venomous, threatened to rip the family apart. This ghost knew truths about Leon's origins that could shatter everything. A silence fell suddenly, like a breath caught too long. Then chaos flooded back. The crowd shifted, whispers turning sharper. Musk felt the weight of millions of eyes burning into him, questioning the man behind the empire. But Leon, he wasn't just a child. He was a storm in waiting. His fingers twitched with strange command over things no one understood yet. Tesla's humming machines seemed to lean closer when he entered a room. Something electric sparked between his pulse and the world. Musk clenched his jaw, voice low but fierce. "I'll protect him," he promised himself. But outside the glass walls, unseen and ruthless, a group watched silently. Their own plans danced just beyond the edge, eyes glowing with cold promise. They believed Leon could ignite a revolution or burn the world down. So here they were, Elon, caught between shining ambition and a desperate father's fear, and a shadow closing in, holding secrets that could change everything. What will Musk do next? Will he fight for his son's future, or will the weight of his empire crush them both? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Elon stood there, heart pounding, battling the storm of emotions swirling inside him. But as he took a moment to gather his thoughts, something shifted in the crowd. A movement, an unexpected surge took hold. The whispers turned into gasps. A woman, strikingly familiar, slipped through the throngs of people. Her eyes zeroed in on Leon. She was tall, with an aura that made it hard to look away. As she approached, a chilling recognition washed over Elon. It was her, the woman from his past, the one he had buried deep in his memories. Wow, the ghost had returned. Leon! Her voice was soft, but the intensity behind it sent shivers down his spine. You don't know me, do you? Leon clutched his father's coat tighter, his wide eyes darting between Elon and the stranger. Who are you? He stammered, confusion mingling with fear. The crowd buzzed with disbelief. Cameras clicked feverishly, capturing every second, capturing this moment that would define 1,000 headlines. What do you want? Elon asked, tension rolling off him in waves. She took a step closer, her expression calm, but her eyes restless. I'm here for him, she said, pointing at Leon. I'm not just a part of his past. ... I'm his mother! The world felt like it had stopped. Elon's heart raced, but this time it wasn't just anxiety. It was a sudden shock. His mind spun. Memories of her flashed back. The late-night conversations, the promises whispered in darkness, the decisions made through love and regret. But he had thought all that was lost. Mom? Leon gaped, his voice trembling. Is it really true? The woman nodded, tears pooling in her eyes. Yes, my love. I've looked for you in every corner of this world. You were born from something special. And they want to control that. A murmur rippled through the crowd, a mixture of awe, skepticism, and joy. But Elon felt a tidal wave of fear crash down on him. No, you can't go near him. The words tore from him, painfully protective. The memories weren't just of love. They were of heartbreak, of choices that had caused unimaginable pain. Can you really protect him? She shot back, her tone fierce now. From them? She gestured vaguely, meaning the shadows lurking just outside the light. The very ones who look at him like a prize! Elon turned, scanning the perimeter, feeling the eyes glinting from the veil of darkness. Whispers about Leon's potential, about his gifts, sent chills down his spine. But was the woman right? Could he protect his son from those dangers? His grip tightened around Leon's shoulders, grounding him. Before he could respond, the crowd surged again. Police sirens wailed in the distance, a cacophony that echoed the urgency of the moment. Security personnel moved closer, pushing against the edges of the growing chaos. The day was escalating from surreal to terrifying in seconds. Then, an unexpected blast shot through the air. An explosion of lights and sound. Panic erupted. The crowd staggered. Screams filled the air. In that explosive moment, everything shifted. Shadows darted. Figures wore masks, faces hidden in the chaotic escape. "Protect him!" The woman's cry broke through, raw and urgent. Elon felt Leon shaking beside him. The boy's eyes were wide, reflecting the chaos. "Dad!" Elon's instincts kicked in. He grabbed Leon, pulling him close. "We need to go now!" But as they turned, he caught sight of the woman's face, and for a split second, confusion washed over him. Was she friend or foe? And what other secrets were hidden beneath the surface? This moment was just the beginning. As the truth began to unravel, the stakes grew higher. Elon felt himself estando en una crossroads llena de incertidumbre, batallando contra fuerzas que nunca imaginó enfrentar. Cuando el mundo revolaba alrededor de ellos, él se preguntaba quién sobreviviría a esta veneración. El mente corría a arrastre, pero todo esto se exponía a un lío en su lado, y el mundo estaba revelando entre ellos. Pero entonces, un crackgo se cierra la atmósfera, las ventanas de vidrios. ¡Wow! Sending shardes espirálicos como lluvia negra. Shautos se rutieron por todos lados. El caos trabó el evento, ahudando las preguntas y las cuestiones. Elon instintivamente decobía a León, empujándolo delante de él. Su corazón podera que le despertaba. ¿Qué ha acabado de pasar? He shouted, desperate to find answers amid the falling debris. The crowd surged, panic fracturing the electric tension in the air into scattered cries. Then, in the middle of it all, a figure emerged amidst the smoke and confusion. It was his old friend, Anna. No, not just a friend. She was a partner from days long gone, back when dreams of innovation burned bright and friendship seemed unbreakable. But her smile twisted now, a haunting contrast to their shared memories. "Elon!" She yelled, her voice sharp as glass. "They're coming for him!" "What do you mean?" Musk ground out, bewildered. The sound of sirens wailing drew near, piercing through the panic. "Who's coming?" "A group. They know. They know everything!" Her eyes darted to Leon, who was trembling like a leaf. Shadows danced on Anna's face, casting her into darkness. "You've unleashed something bigger than you realize!" The air thickened with dread. Whispers rippled through the crowd as onlookers, now frozen in shock, absorbed the wild scene. Was this a setup? A stunt? Or something far graver? "Leon!" Elon knelt, pulling him close. "You're safe. I promise." But his words felt heavy with uncertainty. Anna took a step closer, fear etched in her features. "Elon, there's more to Leon than you know. His mother, her voice faltered, almost choking on the words. She wasn't just anyone. She had connections, secrets that go deep into the shadows." Musk's heart sank. "What secrets?" A lump rose in his throat, squeezing tighter. He felt the world closing in around them, its weight pushing down hard. Leon isn't just a child. He's a key to something that can change everything. Anna's face twisted in pain, as if recalling a wound that didn't heal. "And they'll do anything to get to him." Before he could process it all, distant figures emerged through the crowd, moving quickly, bodies clad in dark suits, eyes watching like hawks. The atmosphere thickened further, crackling with fear and urgency. "Run!" Elon screamed, adrenaline surging. He grabbed Leon's hand. The boy's grip tightened, but there was something more in his eyes now. Not just fear, but a flicker of defiance. A spark that he couldn't comprehend. As they turned to flee, an explosion ripped through the ground, shaking the very foundations beneath them. Dust swirled and screams echoed. For a moment, everything froze in chaotic stillness. Then, shockingly, Elena's face appeared again in the chaos, this time bloodied and broken on the ground. Her eyes locked on Musk, remorse and resolution intertwining with agony. "Elon," she managed to rasp, clutching a piece of metal. "Protect him, or everyone will pay!" Musk's heart plunged into the abyss. The reality of the situation slammed into him like a freight train. Secrets, betrayals, the world around him transformed in an instant. He was left with a choice: protect the boy or face a reckoning he never anticipated. Leon stared, utterly confused. "Dad, what's happening?" And just like that, uncertainty flooded through him. The clock was ticking, threats closing in. What did he really know? Who was Leon? What would be the cost of this hidden truth? The only thing Musk knew for sure was that the world had shifted beneath his feet, and the familiar had turned alien. The fear clenched at him. The storm was gathering. He would have to fight, and he would have to fight hard. Elon's mind was racing. He had felt cornered before, but this was something entirely different. A little boy clung to his side, and the world was raging around them. Suddenly, an unsettling chill swept through the air. It was as if the ground itself held its breath. In the midst of the chaos, there was a sudden hush. The crowd, reeling from the earlier explosion, seemed frozen in that instant of profound silence. Then came the unmistakable sound of heavy footsteps, thuds echoing ominously against the pavement. Elon's heart quickened. He glanced at Leon, who was wide-eyed with fear. "Stay close to me," he urged, pulling the boy even tighter against his side. Amidst the growing tension, a figure emerged through the smoke. It was tall, shrouded in gray, face masked, but something about the posture seemed hauntingly familiar. Then it hit him. He knew this presence. The figure stepped forward, peeling back the mask with a deliberate grace. Elon's breath caught in his throat. It was a younger version of himself, the same sharp jaw, the same fierce eyes, but something dark lingered behind the gaze. "Welcome back, Elon," the figure said, voice smooth yet cold. "I thought you'd never remember." "What the hell is this?" Elon breathed, disbelief draping over him like a heavy cloak. "Don't you see? I am you, just stripped of the chains that bind the past. I came to free you from it all." Leon clutched Elon tighter, sensing the palpable tension radiating from his father. "Who is that, Dad?" His voice trembled, innocence trembling amidst the storm. "Silence," the shadow snapped, eyes flashing with an energy that seemed to crackle in the air. "You, boy, are at the center of something far greater than family drama." Elon recoiled, arms instinctively wrapping tighter around Leon. "Get away from him!" "Oh, but it's too late for that. He's already lost," the figure dismissed, his smile chilling. "You had a choice once, Elon, to embrace the power, to harness what's buried within you. But you turned away. Now you'll face the consequences. As the last word escaped the figure's lips, a surge of energy pulsed through the crowd. A wave of heat washed over them, as if the sun itself had flared in anger. Everything hummed. Machines, people, the very atmosphere, as Leon's eyes suddenly flashed with a brilliance that eclipsed the confusion around him. In that moment, time collapsed. The world spiraled as a burst of white light erupted from Leon, a force of raw energy unlike anything Elon had ever witnessed. It ripped through the air, sending people reeling, and a collective gasp swept through the crowd. "Leon!" Elon shouted, dread pooling in his stomach as he watched his son transform before his eyes. "Control it!" But it was too late. The ground beneath them trembled violently, fissures cracking open. Faces in the crowd distorted into terrified stares as they scrambled to find safety. "Look at what you've unleashed," the figure cried, voice thick with exhilaration and madness. "He's the catalyst, not just a child, but the key to everything." Elon felt the world tilt. He could hardly process what was happening. The people, the noise, the screens, and all he could think about was protecting Leon. "No! Stop this!" he yelled, panic surging like electricity through his veins. The figure smiled wider, an eerie reflection of the chaos surrounding them. "You can protect him from the truth, not anymore." Then there was a blinding flash, and suddenly, Elon found himself standing in a void, a stark contrast to the fray just moments before. The crowd vanished, the noise faded into a whisper. Leon was gone. "Leon!" he shouted, his heart pounding against his chest, but no response came. All that remained was darkness creeping in, and the figure's laughter resonating like a ghost. The reality shifted sharply, and with it, clarity struck him like lightning. "What did you do?" Elon breathed, the weight of betrayal crashing over him. "If you want to find your son," the figure said, eyes glinting with a sadistic glee, "you must confront the truth of who you really are." Elon trembled, his pulse quickening. This was only the beginning. The world shifted, shattering, and he would have to fight through the darkness to piece it back together. Would he uncover the secrets buried deep within himself? Or would the shadows consume everything he held dear? Elon's breathing quickened, each gasp heavy with anxiety. He glanced at Leon, his small frame trembling against the weight of the moment. The world seemed to close in, the flashing cameras a blur around them. Then, as if the universe conspired against him, a figure emerged from the crowd. It was a woman, striking with an intensity that turned heads. She moved swiftly, her expression fierce, her gaze fixed on Elon. As she pushed through the throng, he felt a dreadful sense of foreboding. Leon clutched Elon's coat tighter, sensing the shift. "Mr. Musk!" she shouted, cutting through the noise. The crowd fell silent. "You can't hide the truth forever!" Elon's heart raced. "What truth?" he managed, his voice strained, glancing at Leon. The boy's eyes widened, confusion painted across his face. The woman stepped closer, her voice lowering, electric with urgency. "Leon is not just your son. He is the key to everything." Elon's stomach twisted. "What do you mean?" Panic clawed at his throat. "Who are you?" "Someone you buried," she snapped, her eyes blazing. I'm Miranda, Leon's mother." Gasps erupted from the crowd. The world tilted, leaving Elon spinning. This woman was a ghost. he thought he'd left behind. Treasures and horrors of the past flashed through his mind. The late-night conversations, the secrets whispered in the dark, their plans filled with ambition and dreams. Leon looked at his father, fear written across his face. "Dad, what does she mean?" Elon's chest tightened, trapped between the desire to protect his son and the swirling chaos around them. "No, Leon, she's lying," he said, but it felt weak, like the words slipped from his grasp. "I'm not," Miranda shot back. "I came to find you, to protect him." "They're coming for us, Elon." Suddenly, the crowd surged. Cameras bumped into each other. Questions erupted again, louder and sharper. "Is it true? Did you really father a child with her?" Elon's mind raced. Everything was unraveling. He could feel the weight of judgment pressing down, each gaze a dagger, each whisper a chain. "Protect him?" he muttered, the words tasting bitter. He realized he needed to act fast. The storm building was bigger than him, and it threatened to swallow everything he loved whole. "Leon!" His voice rose above the din. "We need to leave now!" But just as they turned to push through the crowd, a commotion erupted to their left. A flash, then another. Distant shouts of surprise and fear. Elon spun around, only to see a group moving closer. "Get down!" he yelled, yanking Leon to the ground as chaos erupted. People screamed. The noise was deafening. Someone had shouted something. He couldn't catch it. A sudden jolt, a sharp pain across his shoulder. He felt it, the stab of the unexpected. A bullet grazing by. "Dad!" Leon cried, panic rising like storm clouds. Elon felt the warmth of blood trickling down his arm, felt the tightening grip of terror. Miranda screamed, "Run!" But where? The crowd swirled like a whirlpool, fear pushing them closer together. As Elon lay there, heart pounding, he realized it wasn't just about defending Leon against the world anymore. There were forces at play that twisted deeper, darker than he ever imagined. Everything was changing. Secrets were surfacing. Loyalties were being tested in moments when they mattered most. Who could he trust? What were the true stakes? And in the unfolding chaos, would he be able to protect the boy who might hold the key to everything? The answers felt impossibly far away, leaving shadows lingering in the air. Elon stood, heart racing, his gaze darting among the throngs of reporters, an uneasy rhythm pounding at his temples. Leon clutched his coat tighter, eyes wide in panic. But before Elon could catch his breath, a sudden eruption shattered the moment. A loud crash echoed through the hallway. A huge banner fell from the ceiling like a collapsing star, smacking to the ground just a few feet away. The crowd surged back, startled screams filling the air. Dazed reporters stumbled, cameras bobbing wildly. Among the chaos, Elon felt a chilling sense of foreboding wash over him. His instincts kicked in. "Leon, stay close!" he roared, eyes pivoting towards the exit. But as he looked, there was movement in the shadows. A figure emerged, tall and imposing, stepping out from the throng, clad in a dark trench coat, face obscured by the brim of a wide hat. Elon's stomach dropped. His old friend, once trusted, was now a harbinger of nightmares. "You shouldn't have brought him here, Musk," The figure hissed, voice slow and mocking, a serpent's flick. "You're playing a dangerous game. What do you want?" Elon's voice came out sharp, urgent, each word cutting through the heavy tension. The crowd buzzed with whispers, each person gauging the unfolding drama. The figure smirked. "You think this is just about him? You're in deeper than you realize." He took a step closer, and the crowd recoiled, a wave of fear tightening around them. "He's not your son, Elon. He's something much more powerful." Elon's heart convulsed. "What are you saying?" he spat, fighting to keep his voice steady, while dread crept up his spine. "Leon's lineage is shrouded in secrets that could break your empire. He's tied to forces you've only glimpsed. This world is far more complicated than you ever understood." The man's eyes gleamed with a frantic kind of joy, a puppet master feeling the strings pull tight. The air thickened, tension stretching like an elastic band ready to snap. Elon shot a glance at Leon, whose face reflected confusion and terror. "You're lying," Elon growled, but uncertainty gnawed at the edges of his denial. "Am I?" The man chuckled, a sound drenched in darkness. "Open your eyes. This boy will either be your greatest legacy or the end of everything you've built." At that moment, the room shifted. The cameras, once aimed at Elon, swung like steel magnets toward Leon. The boy stood smaller, but undeniably magnetic, radiating a strange energy. Whispers spiked. What does he mean? Is he telling the truth? And then something happened. Leon's fingers twitched and the lights flickered. A low hum echoed, a vibration that buzzed through Musk's bones. Was it his imagination? No! It was real. The air crackled as Leon's presence seemed to warp reality around him. Elon felt the ground tilt beneath him, panic roaring in his head. "Leon, don't!" But it was too late. The energy surged, a pulse that seemed to pull at a thread deep within. With a jolt, everything froze. For a split second, the world hung in silence. Breaths caught, eyes wide. Then it burst forth, an overwhelming wave of shock and awe that even Elon couldn't comprehend. The crowd gasped. Something shifted in the air, a wave of recognition. Fear mingling with something else. Hope? What was happening? The truth was spiraling out of control. Reality fracturing as the walls of the empire threatened to crumble around him. Can they escape this chaos unscathed? Or was this the beginning of an even darker saga? Elon felt the weight of the moment, like a heavyweight pressing against his chest. People buzzed around him, flashes of light like tiny stars going off. But all he could focus on was Leon, his son, his storm. He squeezed his eyes shut for a heartbeat, trying to drown out the noise, when a voice cut sharply through the chaos. "Leon, get away from him!" Elon's heart raced. The shout came from a woman, tall and fierce, storming through the crowd like a force of nature. Her hair was wild, eyes blazing. She was someone from his past, someone he never wanted to see again. Mira, the woman who had vanished years ago, but never truly left him. Leon's head snapped up, confusion etched across his small face. Who is she? The worry in his voice tugged at Elon, a painful reminder of the danger lurking around them. Mira, Elon yelled, but the repressed memories swirled like ghosts. Why had she come now, after all this time? The whispers in the crowd shifted, uncertainty mixing with intrigue. Mira pushed forward, grabbing Leon's arm. "You're in danger!" she shouted, ignoring Elon. "They're coming for you both!" The crowd gasped, snapping to attention. Elon's palms went slick with sweat. All eyes were on them. He stepped forward, ready to shield Leon, but Mira was already locking eyes with the boy. "You don't know what you are yet, but they do." "What do you mean?" Leon's voice was small, trembling. The scared look on his face sent jolts of panic through Elon. The air thickened, tension crackling like static electricity. "Leon, listen!" Mira pleaded, desperation in her tone. "Your father has kept you hidden, but they want to control you. They think you hold the key to something powerful, something dangerous." Elon felt the ground shift beneath him. Control? What was she talking about? He fought through the murmurings of shock and disbelief. He wanted to protect his son, but her words felt like an unseen chain tightening around his heart. "And you're just telling me this now?" he managed, rage and fear mingling. "After all these years?" Leon looked up at Elon, confusion mixing with fear. "What's happening?" he whispered, almost lost in the storm of voices. "Leon, we need to go," Elon snapped back, trying to cover the fear rising in his chest. But Mira wouldn't let go. "You can't protect him, Elon," she shouted. "They've been watching you. You have no idea what you've brought into this world." Suddenly, the sound of sirens echoed in the distance. Piercing through the murmuring crowd, Elon's heart sank. A black SUV pulled up, windows tinted, men with earpieces spilling out. This was real. "Run!" Mira shouted, yanking Leon toward her. But Elon lunged, scooping Leon into his arms. "No, stay with me." His voice shook with anger, fear, desperate resolve. Mira's eyes widened, and for a fleeting second, they shared an understanding. A deep-rooted fear of what was coming. But then she bolted, darting into the crowd with a speed that felt supernatural. Elon felt a rush of cold air as the men approached. The crowd parted like waves, eyes wide with horror and curiosity. Leon squirmed, wrapping his small arms around Elon's neck. "Dad, I'm scared," Leon cried out, gripping tightly. "Keep your head down," Elon murmured, but inside he felt the panic rise, not knowing how to keep his son safe. The men were closing in. Every instinct told him to fight, to stand tall, to protect his son. Then came a call from the shadows. A familiar figure stepped forward, face obscured, a smirk playing on their lips. Someone else from Elon's past. "You really thought you could keep him safe? The world isn't ready for what he can do." Shock rippled through Elon, questions flooding his mind. Who else knew? What did they want from Leon? The reality of his worst fears was rushing toward him like a train he couldn't stop. Protecting Leon was only the beginning. What had he truly stumbled into? And as the tension threatened to explode, he realized this was only the beginning of something far darker than he had ever imagined. Elon stood, heart racing, his gaze darting among the throngs of reporters, an uneasy rhythm pounding at his temples. Leon clutched his coat tighter, eyes wide in panic. He squeezed his eyes shut for a heartbeat, trying to drown out the noise, when a voice cut sharply through the chaos. Leon, get away from him! Elon's heart raced. The shout came from a woman, tall and fierce, storming through the crowd like a force of nature. Her hair was wild, eyes blazing. She was someone from his past, someone he never wanted to see again. Mira! The woman who had vanished years ago, but never truly left him. Leon's head snapped up, confusion etched across his small face. Who is she? The worry in his voice tugged at Elon, a painful reminder of the danger lurking around them. Mira! Elon yelled, but the repressed memories swirled like ghosts. Why had she come now, after all this time? The whispers in the crowd shifted, uncertainty mixing with intrigue. Mia pushed forward, grabbing Leon's arm. "You're in danger!" she shouted, ignoring Elon. "They're coming for you both!" The crowd gasped, snapping to attention. Elon's palms went slick with sweat. All eyes were on them. He stepped forward, ready to shield Leon. But Mira was already locking eyes with the boy. "You don't know what you are!" "Yet, but they do." "What do you mean?" Leon's voice was small, trembling. The scared look on his face sent jolts of panic through Elon. The air thickened, tension crackling like static electricity. "Leon, listen," Mira pleaded, desperation in her tone. "Your father has kept you hidden, but they want to control you. They think you hold the key to something powerful, something dangerous." Elon felt the ground shift beneath him. Control? What was she talking about? He fought through the murmurings of shock and disbelief. He wanted to protect his son, but her words felt like an unseen chain tightening around his heart. "And you're just telling me this now?" He managed, rage and fear mingling. "After all these years?" Leon looked up at Elon, confusion mixing with fear. "What's happening?" he whispered, almost lost in the storm of voices. "Leon, we need to go, now!" Elon snapped back, trying to cover the fear rising in his chest. But Mira wouldn't let go. "You can't protect him, Elon!" she shouted. "They've been watching you. You have no idea what you've brought into this world." Suddenly, the sound of sirens echoed in the distance, piercing through the murmuring crowd. Elon's heart sank. A black SUV pulled up, windows tinted, men with earpieces spilling out. This was real. "Run!" Mira shouted, yanking Leon toward her. But Elon lunged, scooping Leon into his arms. "No, stay with me!" His voice shook with anger, fear, desperate resolve. Mira's eyes widened, and for a fleeting second, they shared an understanding, a deep-rooted fear of what was coming. But then she bolted, darting into the crowd with a speed that felt supernatural. Elon felt a rush of cold air as the men approached. The crowd parted like waves, eyes wide with horror and curiosity. Leon squirmed, wrapping his small arms around Elon's neck. "Dad, I'm scared," Leon cried out, gripping tightly. "Keep your head down," Elon murmured. But inside, he felt the panic rise, not knowing how to keep his son safe. The men were closing in. Then came a call from the shadows. A familiar figure stepped forward, face obscured, a smirk playing on their lips. Someone else from Elon's past. "You really thought you could keep him safe? The world isn't ready for what he can do." Shock rippled through Elon, questions flooding his mind. Who else knew? What did they want from Leon? The reality of his worst fears was rushing toward him like a train he couldn't stop. Protecting Leon was only the beginning. What had he truly stumbled into? Then the unexpected happened. A deafening crack split the air. The ground trembled, and the vehicle exploded in a harsh burst of flames. Chaos erupted. People screamed. Elon's arms tightened around Leon, pulling him close to shield him from debris raining down. The shockwave knocked them back, and in that dizzying moment, the world spun. When Elon regained his bearings, he staggered up. But as he looked up, he saw the flames flickering against the smoke, and within the haze stood a figure, a cloaked silhouette, calm amid the pandemonium. "Elon, you should have been better prepared," the figure said, voice eerily familiar. Elon blinked a rueda de memorias coliciendo. No, no puede ser. La figura corría más cercano a la capa. El tiempo se alentó y cuando se reveló su rostro era suya. Más joven, más claro, pero indudablemente él. Su doppelganger se entrelaza con una creencia oscura y con toda su existencia peligrosa. Leon, es de ser a tus hijos. ¿Te vienes? What do you mean? Who are you? Your father's past has come back to haunt him, his double replied, a smirk forming. And only one of us will survive this reckoning. Elon's stomach dropped. Dread washed over him as the weight of betrayal, the twist of fate, settled like shadows around him. This changed everything. Was this his future? Could they trust anyone? Would the truth shatter their bond? Or was this just the spark igniting the fire? And as the crowd gasped in disbelief, he wondered how deep the deception ran. What would it cost to unravel the truth? Elon felt the weight of betrayal press down on him, thick and suffocating. The crowd stood frozen, eyes wide, and the air crackled with electricity. Leon clutched his father's shoulder with tiny trembling fingers, staring at the man who mirrored Elon's own features, yet held a darkness that chilled his heart. "Your past is haunting you, Elon," the doppelganger continued, voice smooth and mocking. "How fitting that your worst fears manifest right here, right now." Leon's confusion deepened. "Dad, what's going on?" He looked up, his eyes swimming with worry, searching for answers from a father who seemed as lost as he was. Suddenly, the ground shook beneath them, a deep roar reverberating through the air. A low, rumbling vibration that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. The crowd gasped collectively, a wave of unease washing over them. Then it happened. The ground erupted. A fissure split wide, jagged and fierce, swallowing anything in its path. Panic surged like a tidal wave. Screams erupted, drowning out the shock and disbelief. People stumbled backwards, slipping on debris, struggling to escape the chaos. "Leon! Hold on to me!" Elon yelled, instinctively wrapping his arms around the boy, trying to shield him from the chaos surrounding them. Voices screamed in terror. Sounds of metal tearing apart reverberated in the air. But just as quickly as the panic started, it intensified. From the crack in the earth, a fiery glow erupted, casting an eerie light onto the faces of the terrified crowd. The flames flickered wildly, illuminating a dark figure emerging from the depths, a monstrous silhouette, larger than life, looming as if it were stepping out from a nightmare. Elon's heart raced, a primal fear gripping him. What was this? The world felt unreal, twisted, like he was caught in a surreal nightmare. "Run!" he shouted, pushing Leon ahead, but his legs felt like lead, refusing to move. The fierce heat from the flames surged, wrapping around him like a snake, tightening, choking. Amid the chaos, the doppelganger laughed. "You've unleashed more than you realize. This is merely the beginning." His expression twisted, wild excitement flickering in his eyes as if he welcomed the destruction. Then Leon stepped forward, something shifting in his posture. His innocent face hardened. "No! Stop!" he shouted, voice steady, resonating with power. A wave of energy flowed from him, pushing against the encroaching flames, rippling through the chaos like a shockwave. The ground tremored once more, and the monstrous figure faltered. "What are you doing?" Elon crió, confusión lastada con temor. "Get back!" Porque León se puso pegadillo, glimante de fiencia en sus ojos. "I'm not afraid, I can control it!" Just as the doppelganger's laughter faded, a flash of recognition crossed his face. "No, it can't be!" And then the world shattered. The ground beneath Leon erupted in blinding light, illuminating the truth. Visions swirled in the air around them. Past lives, hidden secrets, connections that ran deeper than blood. Elon gasped as memories flooded back, painful and piercing. The firelight danced, revealing the faces of those long gone. Echoes of choices made that had led them here. Unfinished conversations, broken promises, fractured pasts unfolded, and it hit him in an instant. "Elon, your fate isn't just tied to mine," the doppelganger said, voice ringing with confidence. "It's tied to Leon. You both are interconnected through a legacy that's been waiting for this moment." Leon stood, not as a child, but as an entity of immense power, a beacon of possibility. The shadows around them darkened, and for the first time, Elon felt the truth settle over him like a heavy veil. The man he was, his secrets, his ambitions, were all intertwined with Leon's destiny. The realization crushed him. The walls he built were crumbling, and he was left trembling amidst the flames of revelation. "Leon!" Elon whispered, voice shaking, his heart racing. Could he reconcile this? Who was he really protecting? Was he still the father? Or had he set his son on a path towards something beyond comprehension? As the crowd screamed and chaos erupted anew, deep in his gut, one unmistakable truth lingered. The world is shifting, and soon, nothing would ever be the same again. Elon felt the world closing in around him, flames licking at the edges of chaos. He stood frozen, heart pounding as the crowd erupted in panic. Leon held tight to his father, wide eyes reflecting both fear and courage. Suddenly, the glowing fissure that Leon had opened shimmered, turning the air thick with energy. "Dad!" Leon yelled, his voice steady. "We can't let them take you!" The doppelganger, a twisted reflection of Elon, smirked, a sinister light in his eyes. "You can't control this, kid. You're just a pawn in a game far bigger than either of us." But there was something in Leon's stance, a flicker of defiance. "I'm not a pawn!" he shouted. The world seemed to respond to his voice, vibrating with raw potential. Elon's heart raced. "Leon, listen to me. We need to—" "No, Dad. This time, we stand together." Leon's determination cut through the chaos like a knife. In that moment, the crowd's terror morphed into a palpable sense of unity. People watched, their shock transforming into awe as the boy wielded power Neither of them fully understood. The darkness loomed, but dimmed slightly, almost bowing to the authority of Leon's presence. "Elon!" the voice called again, and he turned to see Mira running toward them through the chaos. "He's right. You have to trust him. This power needs a bond, not conflict." Time seemed to slow as the doppelganger faltered, fear creeping into his expression. "You think you can defy me?" he hissed, stepping back, uncertainty washing over him. But it was too late. The truth hung like a storm cloud, ready to unleash its fury. Leon reached toward the fissure with both hands. Light pulsed around him, a warm glow. "I can feel it," he whispered, raw emotions spilling out. "We are stronger together." And in that moment, Elon felt a surge of hope. He stepped forward, arms outstretched. "Then let's do this, son!" Together. Together they grasped the power that shimmered in the air, weaving their destinies into one strand of courage and love. The energy surged forward, rippling through the crowd, igniting a wave of shared strength. People rose from their fear, uniting behind the unlikely pair. The flames receded, the fissure flickered, and the dark figure shrank back, losing its hold. Then, a deafening blast erupted. A shockwave of light and sound that swept across the gathered crowd. And just like that, silence fell. The chaos stilled, and the crowd stood, united in awe, feeling the remnants of their old fears dissolve like mist. The doppelganger stared, mouth agape, horror dawning. "No! This isn't how it was supposed to end!" But just as quickly, the brightness overwhelmed, and he vanished, leaving nothing but echoes of his laughter behind. A haunting reminder of the darkness they had faced. When the light faded, the crowd erupted into cheers. Leon and Elon stood together, breathless, hearts racing. They had anchored each other in a tempest of uncertainty and despair. "Did we do it?" Leon asked, eyes wide with disbelief, a smile creeping onto his face. Elon knelt beside him, pride swelling in his chest. "You brought us back, Leon. You showed us who we really are." As people embraced, sharing tearful moments of relief, a new bond formed among them. The fear had transformed into hope, and they finally felt free. But the shadows still lingered beyond their triumph, threats that had only receded, not disappeared. And for Elon and Leon, the journey was just beginning. He looked into Leon's eyes, brimming with power and potential, and knew they had not seen the last of the shadows. "Together, we can face anything," Elton vowed. But uncertainty flickered beneath the surface. What awaited them beyond this moment? And as the crowd celebrated their survival, Elon felt the weight of the future pressing in. This was only the beginning. You can't let this moment slip away. You have to hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss out on the upcoming exclusive stories that will follow. Smash that like button to show your support. Every click feeds the algorithm and helps us grow. Flood the comments section with your thoughts and theories about this ending. I'm dying to hear what you think. And don't wait even a second longer to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this ending. This is the moment to show your support.